London in the 1700s shouldn't have been great. This city, drowning in filth and debt, suddenly transformed into the planet's most powerful financial engine. Today, we see London as a glittering city with its skyscrapers, but 250 years ago, it was a place where the stench of sewage mixed with the aroma of fresh coffee and massive wealth. Using AI, we will bring back the era when coffee houses stood where modern banks now rise, and when the walls of majestic cathedrals hid the empire's grittiest secrets. We will walk the streets that laid the foundation of our modern world. Do you want to see how capital was born? Subscribe and let's begin. Until the mid-18th century, this metropolis had a fatal vulnerability. Only one permanent bridge across the Thames. Old London Bridge wasn't just a crossing, it was a lived space, with houses, shops, and chapels literally hanging over the rushing river. This created monstrous traffic jams that choked trade and movement for years. It wasn't until between 1756 and 1762 that authorities took a radical step. They demolished all the houses on the bridge and widened the central arch to allow larger vessels to pass. The Thames was the city's main highway, its engine room, connecting London's docks to America, Asia, and Europe. While ships in the port unloaded sugar from the West Indies and silk from China, the birth of what governs your banking apps today was happening in the alleys of the city. In the 1700s, London became a commercial giant. In legendary coffee houses, merchants and captains didn't just drink coffee, they insured risks and traded stocks. It was in this era that the foundations of the greatest financial systems were laid. The very financial instruments that determine exchange rates on markets today are direct descendants of the port receipts of that time. Today's London financial center is just a digital continuation of that same adventurous and brutal market that emerged amidst the mists of the Thames. But this golden age had a dark side. By 1793, in a city with 1 million people, there were estimated 50,000 women in the sex trade. This was called a necessary evil. Most shockingly, many brothels in the Southwark district had for centuries sat on lands of the church, and bishops received direct income from the fines of these establishments. Poverty drove women to stew houses, bathhouses where services were masked as washing. The laws of the time, such as the 1824 Act, punished women but left their gentlemen clients in the shadows. London was a symbol of double standards. The elite mansions of aristocrats stood alongside raw street poverty. London sought to prove it was a new Rome. St. Paul's Cathedral, completed after the Great Fire, became a symbol of the city's ability to rise from the ashes even more powerful. In 1759, in the former aristocratic mansion, Montague House, the world's first public museum, the British Museum, opened. This was a triumph of the Enlightenment, where imperial collections sat alongside scientific ambitions. Even Buckingham Palace was then just the private Buckingham House on the edge of the city, surrounded by open fields and gardens. These buildings screamed of the wealth provided by shipyards, docks, and financial speculation. Looking at these AI reconstructions, you realize modern London was built on incredible ambitions and equally massive sacrifices. The past is much closer than it seems. It is written in the rules of the banking system and the bricks of the old quarters. Which city should we revive next? New York, Paris, or Golden Amsterdam? Write in the comments. Like the video if history should live, and see you in the next one.